So last time we were talking about switch statements. Okay, we were talking about control structures, how our program is supposed to flow, and all those kind of things. So today, let me just do a little bit of a revision. Let me just do a little bit of a revision, and then if then after doing some sort of revision, then we can continue and we see how other things are done. Okay, right. Then about your first test, we'll see when you can write. It's not really a problem because you guys are doing a year module, so you can always have a major test or something that we can just do at a later stage. But now, since you're going to start with your examination, I don't want to bombard you with a lot of work. Okay, right. So we were looking at something interesting. Let me just share the slides. We're looking at something interesting, and I did send some videos of my previous classes. I think it was during COVID. I recorded them and then uploaded them on YouTube so that we can reference in future. Then I believe some of you went through them and you were practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing. Though we had some delay with the HR, but we managed to solve the problems that we were having, and I believe that we will not have those problems in the nearby future. Okay, let me not waste much of your time. I know it's Saturday. I know you want to go and vibe and do all those kind of things. So let me not waste your time. Let me just share my screen on what I want to lecture on today. Right, you should be able to see my screen right now. We are looking at making decisions in programming. We are talking about control structures, how to actually work around control structures, and moving about that. So we are expected to plan some decision making logic. We are also considering making decisions using the if and the if else statement, using multiple statements in if and if else clauses, nested if and if else statement, and then using and or operators. Okay, so that's what we are mainly interested in. Then we are also going to go into depth where we'll look into making accurate and efficient decisions using the switch statement, using the conditional and not operators, the assess operator precedence, and add decisions and constructors to instance methods. So this is what we are trying to look at this time. So don't worry about planning decision-making logic where we have to use our pseudocode, the flow chart, and all those kind of things. You will continue to do it, I think, next year. All right, you will do that next year. So let's just have a recap on the if statement. So this is the most simplest way to make a decision, and then it consists of a Boolean expression that appears within the parentheses. So we have to learn a little bit about some sort of expressions. I did explain some of the expressions, I think, last time, but we'll have a look on it today as well. And then we also have to know, or to take to know, that no space between the keyword if and the opening parenthesis. Execution always continues to the next independent statement. And then we use a double equal sign as indicated in the notes right there to indicate or to determine equivalency. Okay, to determine equivalency. Right. Now, I want you to look at your screen. We have a variable of which the variable it's quiz score. Now, in that variable, it's being compared to what? To the value which is 10. So if quiz score is equals to 10, then the system should print out to say the score is perfect. It should print out that the score is perfect. So the statement quiz score equals to 10, it is a what? It is a logical expression. Now, I was just teaching the other group, I think the second years, and then I was just trying to explain to them that I have a problem with my students because my students, they don't understand how to write logical expressions. Okay, they fail to understand that, okay, what I need to do, I need to relate my logical expression with my relational operators. Okay, it's very very important. Okay, it is very very important. So the diagram or the logic that you are seeing there, the system will check, will go and read the logical expression. Is quiz score equal to 10? If it is true, then output what? The score is perfect. But if it's not, then just cut the program. Okay, we will look into how we can actually write this. We'll look at how we can actually write these quiz. I mean the logical expressions. So there should be no semicolon at the end of the first line of the if statement. Okay, it's very very important to take note of that. Now let me just quickly move on. Then we've got what is known as if else. Remember, that was the if. Okay, but as we continue to move, we've got what is known as the if else statement. Performs one action when a Boolean expression evaluates as true, and then performs a different action when a Boolean expression evaluates as false. Okay. So with the if else, this is the logic that you should know or you should try to have a look at. Okay. So in this case, you will have, let's say for example, you will have your if quiz score is equals to 10. Then if it's equals to 10, then you're going to what? You're going to print something. In this case, we are printing what? Score. The score is perfect. Else, if quiz score is not equals to 10, then we're going to print what? It is not perfect. So this is the logic around your if else statement. Okay, this is just the logic around. Remember, I'm just doing some sort of revision to what we were doing last time. Okay, we have already worked around these things. All right. You just try to. Then you can have what is called nested if statements. Okay, we'll look into that. But now let us try to work around the logical and logical or operators, because this is important as well. If you are to write, for an example, if you are to write what do you call this thing, logical expressions, you must understand how to use the and the or operator. So the and operator is derived from your AND gate. I believe you guys are now aware of the AND gates right now, how the AND gates, how they work and all those kind of things. I believe now you are aware. So with the AND gate, both statements must be what? Must be true. Both statements must be true. A good example about this is where you're using your what? You're trying to log in somewhere. And then as you are trying to log in somewhere, it will tell you what? It will tell you that, okay, you have your username and then you've got your what? Your password. So it checks both the username and the password. If both of them are true, then it gives you access to the web page. But if one of those is false, it will not give you what? Access. So they are written as two ampersands, just like that. Okay, we'll do a lot of practical towards that in just a moment. Then also we've got the OR operator. Then with the OR operator, at least one condition must be true. At least one condition must be true. Okay, the best example I can give for this in a statement is what? I'm not thinking of any example. Okay, we can have a system. We can design a system for an example, and then in this system we check your username and ID. If it finds that your ID is wrong but your username is correct, it should allow you to log in. You see, so one of the statement must be true, but if both statements are not true, then it should not allow you access. So that's the logic behind the OR operator, and then the OR operator, it's represented the way you are seeing on the screen right there. Okay, right. So this is just some examples of this is just some examples of how to use an OR and how to use an AND gate. Let's try to have an example, a practical example of how we can actually implement this. How we can actually implement these things. Okay. Share my screen in just a moment. Share my screen in just a moment. So you will remember that last time we were working on something like that. Okay, we were working on something like that where we had public static void, blah 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 blah. So now I want us to try and implement the logicals now. Okay, just remove this thing. Let's try to write a simple program. So we can say if, okay, then inside if we can specify the condition, right? Inside the if we can just specify the condition. So if 25 or 24 or 25 is greater or equal or is less or equal to what? To 100, then we can use the AND operator. And what? You can use a car, right? And A is less than B. I think it should work. I think it should work. I don't know if this condition really makes sense, but the truth is this one is true. Okay, let's try to just print something and see if it will work. Okay, let's see if we'll be able to run this. Okay, run. Okay, it's working. It works. Yeah, which means that everything is perfectly fine. But let's try to evaluate this. Let's try to evaluate these two statements, this statement and that statement. Let's try to evaluate it. Is 25 less or equal to 100? That statement is true. But is A less than B? No, it's actually not. It's actually not. Okay, let's try something else. Let's play around. Right, sorry for that. I had to mute that other person. I don't know if people are just attending class when they're some sort of texting or something. Let's try to check this condition. Is 25 greater or equal to 100? No. Then let's check this condition as well. Is car A less than B? Is it true? Because we want a condition where one statement should be false and one should be what? Should be true. Then if one of these statements is true, then it should print that what? It works. Then if it's not finding any of these statements to be true, it will what? It will keep on just showing us that not printing anything. You see, it's not printing anything. Try that one. Okay, wait. Let's try that. Let's see if it will. Okay, let's try to use 10. Let's try with numbers and see what will happen. Okay, with numbers, it's actually working. So what do we have there? Let's try to check our logical expression. We have got 25 greater or equal to 100, which is false. Is 10 less or equal? Does it fit in between 10 less or equal to 50? Yes, it fits in very well. So one statement is true, the other is false. But when that happens, when you're using the or logical operator, it will allow you. Okay, it will allow you. But if we were to change now and we use the and like that, it should not print anything. But because what? This statement is what? Is false. So that's how you can actually work with the logical operators, right? That's how you can actually work with the logical operators in a real program. Now, let us continue to move. Let's see other things which are also important when we are talking about these control structures. We also have another control structure which is more accurate than an if-else statement, of which this one is called what? A switch statement. So with the switch statement, it's just an alternative to a series of nested if statements. It tests a single variable against a series of what? Of exact, integer, character, or string values. So the keywords that we'll be working with a lot here, it is switch, it is case, it is as well as break, and then default. So with case, it's followed by one of the possible values for the test expression and a colon. Then break optionally terminates a switch statement at the end of each case, and then default optionally used prior to any action that shall occur if the test variable does not match any case. So let's try to see the structure of what? The structure of a switch. So that's how the switch statement itself, it will look like. It's not really different from an if-else statement, but this one only tests one variable. Okay, it only tests one variable. More especially when we are creating some sort of menus, and obviously we will opt in for a switch rather than using an if-else statement. Let's try to implement this in a correct or in a real program. Then we'll try to see if it's working to our favor. Let's say we want create what? Let's try to create a program that we can implement a switch. Okay, let's try to create a program that will allow us to implement a switch. Okay. So there we are. So with a switch, let's say for example, we can have something like system dot out dot then we can just want to create some sort of a menu. We want to try and create a simple calculator, right? Simple calculator. So let's just paste of those. So we can just try to make it nice. Menu. Then we can say addition. Direction. Then we can have vision. Then we can have modulus. Then we can tell to say enter, or you can say choose an option, just like that. Then we need our scanner, so let's import our scanner. We have our scanner there, so int a, assign into our scanner, just like that. We should be able to get an input, and then after getting an input, we store it in our variable a of data type integer, and then after that we can have our switch. So switch, then our value there. Okay. So we can have switch, and then we place our value right there. Then after that we can open our curly braces just like that. Then inside a switch, based on the syntax that I just showed you guys, we must have case numbers. Then we can have case 1, then semicolon, then inside the case we can just try to print something so that we don't waste time. Welcome to what addition. Then after that, we have to break just like that. Just copy that. Then you can have second case, third case, fourth case. So this will be 4. This will be 3. This will be 2. And then what is the second case? Subtraction. Just a sub. And then with this one we can say div. And then after that we can just erase. Do we have case number 4? What's case number 4? It's modulus. Okay. Welcome to mod. Then and then break. So we've got those cases. Just let me just make it look a little bit nice. So this is 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I should have added what? Should have added exit here. We have exit there, so then we can have case number 5. Then it should be system dot what? Dot exit. Like that. And then in case someone enters something that we don't want, we use the default. And then just display something to say, okay, wrong option. Should work. If it doesn't work, we'll try to solve it. If it doesn't work, we'll try to solve it. All right. Now we have tried to use a switch instead of if else statement. So in this case, what it's going to do, it should, let's say for example, it will show me the menu first. Then when it shows me the menu, when I press 1, it should be able to take me to what? Should be able to take me to welcome to edition. Come to think of it, I've missed something else again. Choose option. Choose option. All right. Let's see. Let's see if this will work out. All right, let's try to run this program. So yes, I hope there are no errors. Okay. Okay, we have no errors, but why is it taking time to run? Okay. I saw where the error was. Okay. Duplicate. Okay. Okay. 48. Where's 48 now? Oh, just need to remove that. Then this system.exit. Guys, I'm not sure about the exit part. But it's something like that. It looks like that. Okay. Let's try to run this program. Now it's working perfectly fine. Can you see the menu? All right. Can you see the menu? If you can see the menu, just let's communicate. Can you see the menu?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, perfect. The menu you can see.
Yes.
So let's try to enter 1, and then after when you have entered 1, just press enter. Then it should show you that welcome to edition. Right. So it should show you that welcome to edition. And let me try to run the program again, and then let me try to use 5. Then 5, it will make me to exit everything. And then let me again try to just come up with an option that is not there, maybe 6, then it should be able to display that wrong option. So this is another way of which you can control your your program's flow, your program's control structure. Okay, so this is another way of which you can actually do that. All right, any questions? Any questions raised? No?
So, so I don't have
Yes.
a question. I just wanted to ask if you are able to send us a copy of the file after the class,
Which file?
the whole program, the case and break file.
I don't think it will be possible because remember I create these codes while in class, okay, and then after
Yeah.
that when moving on I delete these codes and then just try something else. So I don't think it will be really possible for me to do that.
Okay.
But in your textbook you should be able to get more examples. And then if you can just follow those examples, I think it will be you'll be good. Okay. Any other question before we move on? Because we're still dealing with control structures now. Any questions? Okay, no questions. Fine. Fair enough. Good that people are understanding what I'm trying to do. Now, let's move. Now, let's say, for an example, you want to write a program that always loops. It always loops. How are you going to do that? Now, that's where we can now start to introduce loops. Now, it's important to also to learn about loops. Don't worry. I'm about to share some slides again now where I'll be explaining about loops. Right. Okay. Because remember, all that we are trying to do right now, we are trying to control our program. We're trying to control our program. You should be able to see my slides now about looping. Okay. So you should be able to describe the loop structure, create while loops, use shortcut arithmetic operators, create for loops, create do while loops. So a loop is basically a structure that allows repeated execution of block of statements. That's all about a loop. Then a loop has got a loop body where it has a block of statements which are executed repeatedly. Also, a loop supports what is known as iteration. Okay, iteration. Don't worry about it. We will explain I will explain in just a moment what I mean by iteration. So we've got 3 types of loops that we can use to control the flow of our program. We've got the while loop, we've got the for loop, and then we've got the do while loop. All right. Now, this is just a basic flow chart of how a loop will look like. So you have your Boolean expression, which now will, if the Boolean expression is true, then it will go to the loop body or it will execute whatsoever that's inside the loop body. But if it's false, it will terminate. Right. So basically, so let us start with the first loop where we've got a while loop. So this one, it executes a body of statements continually. Okay, it continues to what to execute certain statements. Now with the while loop we have what we call the LCV, or it's known as the loop control variable. I will show you what I mean by the loop control variable. Okay, let me continue to right. I believe we can all see the examples, the example that is on your screen. So this just right. So as you can see, what you are seeing on your screen, they're just showing you an example of how we actually write the while loop. So it's while, then we have an expression, then curly braces, then the statement. Then they're saying that don't do it. They're just trying to give you an example to say, okay, this loop will never end because the tested expression is always true. So in other words, if you say while for greater than 2, it means that it will be a what? An infinite loop. So I can give you a question maybe in your test. Write a program using any of the loops that will actually be an infinite loop. So I'm expecting to see something like that. Okay. Don't worry, we'll do it together and then in just a moment. All right, it's fine. The rest of the things, they're not really important. What's important is for you guys to know what must be done. Let's try to have a practical example of what a while loop looks like. So let's remove that program. So the structure of a while loop, it will be like while I then 10, or we can say while age is less than 35. Okay. Then system put out print line. You can still give birth. All right. I believe you guys are seeing what I'm doing on the screen, right? So if you're not seeing anything, please guys let me know, because I don't want to continue and you guys are not seeing anything. So we can say int age is equals to what? Let's say your age is 30. And CLS, then we can try to what? To run this code. So as you can see, it is what? It continues looping. It will continuously loop, like continuously loop and continuously loop. Can you see? Can you guys see when it's looping? Can you see when it just continues to say you can give birth? You can give birth. Can you see it? All right, perfect. If you can see that. Okay, perfect. So this is an example of a what? This is an example of a while loop, how it works. So as long as age is 30, it will continue. Trust me, it will continue to loop to try to give you that. So it checks the what? The logical expression right there. And then voila, it continues. Let's try to tweak and we just say, okay, while age is 30, 36 for an example. We save that and we try to run our program. This while loop does not want to stop. See, that's the problem with infinite loops. Sometimes they can just give you a lot of problems. Okay, let me just try. Okay. Why is it not executing? It's not executing because it's not executing because the statement is what? To it, it's false. To it, it's false. All right, now let's try to see while age is between, while age is greater than, people start giving birth from what age? Nowadays, even 10-year-olds.
12.
In what? Which age? Hello?
12. 12.
2 years. No, that's witchcraft. Eh? I'm telling you, 2 years. That's witchcraft. Two. You guys, what's happening? Are you guys going for 2 years? For 2 years now? You are hunting now, eh? Now you are hunting. You just see a 2-year-old child, and you be like, no, she's fit enough to be a. No, it doesn't work like that. For argument's sake, let's say people start giving birth from 16, right? Then let us use the relational operators, and age is what? Age is less or equal to 35 or 40. Okay, depending on what you are eating, of course. You guys are always eating acha. You're eating acha every day. You have a problem, trust me. Right, enough about that. We are not in a biology class. I don't even know where that came from. So, all right. we are trying to work around with the while loops so that we can try and understand what is happening. So, while age is greater or equal to 16 and age is less or equal to 40. So, if the age is between 16 and 40, the condition will be what? Will always be true. But if you say age is 10 now, the condition will be what? Will be false. So let's try with 25. Most of you, this is your age where you are, you're creating miracles. Okay. Let's try to run this program. Okay. Now you can see between that, it's recognizing the statements, both of the statements to be what? To be true. But if we were to go out of the range now, it was not going to execute. I believe now the while loop is just clear to everyone. I believe this while loop now is just clear to everyone. You now know where you can use the while loop, right? I believe it's perfectly clear. Right. Let's continue. Let's continue. All right. Let's continue with our slides. I just wanted to show you how we can control our program using the while loop. So as long as the condition is true, it will continue to execute. Now, let me bring your attention to something that I once said to you guys, but I don't know if you still remember it. When we were looking at relational operators or different types of operators, I also mentioned something about the pre-increment and the post-increment operator, where you've got you see these values plus plus, and then you've got your variable, and then sometimes it's your value and then plus plus. Okay, so this we are trying to increment some sort of a value by a what? By a 1. So the difference between the two is that sometimes you can increase the value before computation happens. Sometimes you can increase the value after computation. That's the difference between pre and what? And post. Most of my students, they will always have a problem with these things. So let's try to look at this. So you've got your prefix, where your urinary operators, they come before your what? Your variable. Okay. Where your urinary, can this? Oh, sorry, Kutazo. I saw your message a little bit late. Can this be written as 16? No. It can't be written like that. It can't be written like that. Okay. It can't be written like that. So now you've got your pre. Let me just share the whole screen. Because so that I don't have problems with shifting from there to there. Because what we are trying to come up now with is that we have a value like age. Okay, now if we add a unary operator before like that, just like that, it's known as what? Pre-increment. But if we've got age and we add urinary operators like that, it's called a what? A post. It's known as a post increment. So you must be able to differentiate between the two, because how they function, it's a little bit different. Okay, it's a little bit different. So let me go back to the notes and try to show you. So with the pre-increment, the result is calculated and stored. Then the variable is used. Let me repeat that. The result is calculated and what? And stored. Then the variable is what? Is used. But with the post now, the variable is used, then the result is what? Is calculated and stored. That's the difference between the post and the pre. Are we together, class? Are we, is everything making sense, or I've lost you guys somewhere? Or so if I'm losing you guys, please just let me know. We don't understand. Right. With the pre-increment, the result is calculated and stored. Then the variable is what? Is used. But with the post, we start by using the what? The variable. Then the result is calculated and stored. Don't worry, you will understand it as we continue. Because if you don't understand this, it becomes a little bit of a what? Of a problem as we continue. Look at that program that you're seeing there. You've got int my number, then you've got a variable answer, and then they said my number is equals to what? To 17. So before incrementing, my number is, then yeah, they showed you there. Okay, I think we should just write a program that looks like the one that we are seeing on the screen. I think that will help us to understand this much better. Let's write a program, guys. We've got a certain variable age, just like that. Age is equal to, for example, my age. Okay, can use my age. It's not a problem. And then system out print line. Then you can have age. Okay. Okay, we can do it this way. Pre increment. Okay, like that. Then we can have a, can have plus plus a. You can have something like that. So that's our pre-increment. And this one will be post increment. Then we have got a plus plus. Okay, the example should not be difficult from what we are trying to do. Okay, this example is good because it gives you two. Let me just do it this way. It gives you two then just place that there so that we're able to track. Okay, this is for us to be able to track whatever that we're doing. String concatenation. Okay, then with post increment we'll do the same as well. We have answer, should be storing it just like that, and then should be able to work. You guys, you didn't tell me that I I wrote an A instead of age. Okay, I didn't save, so why are we having the error now? Unclosed string literal. Where? It's line number 1. It can't be. Okay, one is okay. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to check where the error is because with this one now it doesn't really show me the line. Okay, wait, let me just scroll up. Just check some few things.
So isn't it the equal sign?
Where I can't see it. This code now is
Next to the pre-increment, the answer equals to.
this side. You mean here?
Yeah.
But it should not give us an error. Just let me check. Let's see if that's the thing, because it's not really showing me the line where the error is. Oh yeah. Thank you very much. I couldn't see that. Thank you. Now, when you look at it that way, it doesn't really give you what I wanted it to give you. Yes, both the answers will be what? Both the answers will be, because we are using the same variable, both the answers will still be 38. The final answer will be 38. But I just wanted to show you guys the logic now behind how this thing happened. To say, let's say for an example, line number 11, right? We are using okay, I think I know what to do so that we have what we think, this strategy that I want to use, because I want to try and explain to you guys. Okay. I think age is, this will help to differentiate what happens, because the thing that we need to understand here is that I want you guys to see what happens when you're using the pre and when you're using the post, I want you guys to understand the difference between the two. Does it increment after that it has been assigned, or it increments it after the whole calculation process? That's what I wanted you guys to see. But unfortunately, I'm trying to think of an example that will clearly show us how it happens. But I think as we continue, when we're dealing with maybe with for loops or something like that, maybe I'll be able to show you. But I wanted to show you how it actually works, how they've described it on the notes here to say with the pre now, the result is calculated and stored, then the variable is used. Okay, but with the post, we use the variable first, then the result is calculated and stored. I just wanted to show you the difference between the two. But if I will try to think of a better example to show you guys, because this now will help us as we are looking at the for loop itself. Okay, because a for loop it has three LCV. It has three LCV, the loop control variables. Okay, where you've got your initialization, and then you've got your expression, and then you've got your update statement. For an example, what I'm trying to say with the for loop itself, like this for, and then you've got your initialization, the initialization statement, you've got your expression, and you've got your increment or decrement statement somewhere there. And then you've got your loop body where you're going to just place in everything. So this one, it's more like a loop thing. So how does it work? So for an example, we can say, let's say you want to display something maybe 5 times. So for so you can have something like that, system.out.println. What is going to happen here now? That's the question that we must ask ourselves. What is really going to happen when we look at that program? So what is going to happen? Remember, we've got our loop control variables, right? As you can see there, where here we've got an increment. So you've got your initial statement. So I is going to start at what? At 0. Then it goes to the expression statement. It compares 0. If is 0 less than 10, if the statement is true, it will print what? Hello. Then increments to what? To 1. Then I will no longer be equal to what? To 0, but it will be equal to 1. It checks, it compares. Is 1 less than 10? Yes. It prints hello world. It continues until it reaches 10. When it reaches 10, it will now check. Is 10 less than 10 or it's false? Then it can't increment. Then it terminates everything. Let's see how it actually works. Just run it. Yeah, I'm writing things today. Okay. We still have I didn't specify the. Remember, my mistake was that I didn't specify the data type. So it's not recognizing I. So that's why it's giving us this error. And or what is expected? Line number what? Okay. Let me see something. All right, there we go. We've got our program, as you can see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But it's not actually 10, it's 0 because remember we started from what? Because if we were to change and start from 1, you will see a difference now. See? Okay, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this another way of which we can actually control our program. How our program flows. This another way of which we can use to control our program. Is it making sense or it's not making sense? Is it making sense or is not making sense?
We can understand, sir.
Okay, you can understand. Now that's perfect.
Sir.
So
Sir.
right. Yes,
Sir.
yes.
What is I plus plus for?
I plus plus, it's working as an increment. Okay, what is happening? Let me explain it again, right? What is happening here? Do you see we have okay, I think there's a table somewhere that I can explain this much better. Let me just look for the table. Just look for the table. That table, it will help you. Let me just, because I think that's the best way to explain this with a table. Then you'll be able to understand. Scroll down. Yeah, there we go. We've got table. Okay, let me share this. It's one of the tutorial sites that I really like because they just wait. I'm about to share. Can you see? Can you? Yeah, I believe now you can see what is happening. Now, I want you to walk with me so that you don't get lost. Okay? Don't get lost. So we've got an example. Display a text 5 times. Which text are we going to display? Java is fun. So now we create our what? Our for loop. Okay? So we've got our syntax just like that. For parenthesis int is equals to what? To 1. That's our initial statement, which means that our loop is going to start counting from 1. Then we've got our expression statement now, where I is less or equal to n. Obviously, n is 5 because it has been declared there. So instead of declaring that n, then we can actually declare it there to say I is less or equals to 5. Then here we've got what? Pre-increment. So it can either plus I or I plus plus. When you are working with for loops, there's no difference between the two. But when you are using it independently, there is a difference. Okay, there is a difference when you're using it. So what this person is trying to do, he wants to try and display this string 5 times. You see, Java is fun, Java is fun, Java is fun, Java is fun, Java is fun. So what is happening? Now, the first iteration that is going to happen, you're gonna have your variable as what? I is equals to what? To 1. Let's go back to our loop. I is equals to what? To 1. Then it comes to the expression now. It checks, it compares. Is I less than n? Is it true or false? It will be what? It will be true. Why is it true? Because I is 1 and I is less than 5. Then when it gets that, if that statement is true, it's going to what? It's going to move on to print the statement, and then after printing the statement, or let me put it this way, after it gets that this statement is true, it's going to increment to 1 and then print the statement. Then when it increments now, the value of I is not going to be 1 anymore because we have added a 1 here. Okay, I plus plus, right, guys? It's more like we're trying to say A plus 1. It's more like we're saying A plus 1. So instead of saying A plus 1, A plus 1, A plus 1, we can say what? A plus plus. The compiler will recognize that as what? As adding a 1. So when it does the second iteration now, the I has changed to be what? To be 2. Then it goes and compares, it's 2 less than n, or it's 2 less than 5. True. It increments. I now becomes 3. It prints Java is what? Is found. The same way it's happening in this table. Okay? Second iteration, I is now what? 2. N 5. So the condition I less than or equal to 1 is still true. So what will you do? Java fun is what? Is printed. I is increased to what? To 3. The third iteration as well. I is equals to 3. It checks the condition. It is still true. I is increased to 4. It goes there for the first time. I has changed to what? To 4. The condition is still true because 4 is still less than 5. It increases. So it goes to what? It goes to 5 now. It goes to 5. If I is equals to 5, is 5 less or equal to 5? The condition is still true. Then it's what? Java fun is printed. Then it increases the what? The value of I to 6. Then when it increases the value of I to 6, it goes again and check. It runs the fixed what iteration. I is equals to what? To 6. N is equals to 5. Is the condition true? Is 6 less or equal to 5? The condition is false because 6 is actually greater than what? Than 5. Then loop is terminated. That's how it works. I hope I've cleared out your confusion, right?
Yes, sir.
Anyone who has a question when it comes to loops? Before we do something. Okay, it seems as if we don't have loops. So guys, I don't want to bombard you with a lot of information. You need to go and just think about whatever that we've been doing now, digest on it, and yeah, and just digest on it. Okay. Trying to look for an exercise for you guys to go and practice about for loops. Okay, you are going to page number what? Trying to look for a simple exercise for you. Page 324, exercise 1A. Exercise 1A and B. Also, just exercise 1A and B and exercise 2. Okay? That will be your homework, your exercise that you are going to work around with. And the next time when we meet, I think during the week, we'll start by solving those exercises. Then we can continue and look at something that is different. Is it fine? Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just go and do that, page 324, exercise 1A and B, and then 2. And if I want to meet you guys this coming Saturday, I want to meet you on campus. Okay? So please, whatever that you're doing when you're busy preparing, whatever, just know that I want to meet you this Saturday. This Saturday, whether some of you don't come and some who are having a class this Saturday, I need to meet you face to face and then continue to teach you so that you must be able to ask me questions face to face. I should be in Venda by Friday. It's just that I'm not sure what time on Friday, but I should be in Venda by Friday. Then Saturday, let me meet you guys. Is it good? So that we try and see what we can do. All right, guys. I think that's it for today. Go and revise on what we've been trying to do, and then we'll meet this coming Saturday. Thank you very much for your wonderful time, and then I will meet you this coming Saturday. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.